This is from the Christian Examiner, and I'm trying to see the date that it was published. Oh, goodness. Well, I know it was recent because I'm not seeing it for some reason. But anyways, I'll have the link for it, and you can go and look for yourself. But this was this was after New York passed the law that basically you can abort up to birth, and so I'll just read it. And this may be shocking to you. Maybe you didn't know this. Maybe you did. I don't know, but nonetheless, New York isn't the only state that allows abortion up to birth. Before New York lawmakers voted last Tuesday to remove gestational limits on abortion, 7 states and Washington, D.C. already had laws allowing third trimester abortions. Similarly, all states that have law banning late-term abortions still allow exceptions under certain circumstances, as noted by, let's see, I'm going to butcher this, Guttmacher Institute, Guttmacher, so I apologize. My pronunciation of words is awful. Anyways, Guttmacher, I think is how you pronounce it, Institute, an organization that advocates for abortion rights worldwide. Such exemptions include babies with physical anomalies and the health of the mother, which can include mental health, according to pro-life group Operation Rescue. The 7, now 8 states that have no gestational limits on abortion are Alaska, Colorado, New Hampshire, New Jersey, New Mexico, New York, Oregon, and Vermont, along with Washington, D.C. Despite abortion up to the time of birth being legal in 7 states and the nation's capital, there are only 5 clinics nationwide that perform late-term abortions. 2 are in states that allow abortions up to birth, and 3 are in states that prohibit late-term abortions but allow exemptions, California, Maryland, and Ohio. Among the states that have no abortion limits so far, only Colorado and New Mexico have clinics that will perform abortions up to 32 weeks and latter on a case-by-case basis. Those clinics are Warren Hearn's Boulder Abortion Clinic in Boulder, Colorado, and Curtis Boyd's Southwestern Women's Options in Albuquerque, New Mexico, which the Christian Post has reported on in the past. The other clinics in states with unrestricted abortion limits have set their own caps. A clinic in New Jersey performs abortion up to 25 weeks, Oregon at 24 weeks, New Hampshire up to 17 weeks, and Alaska and Vermont up to 16 weeks, Operation Rescue has found. At least one clinic in Washington, D.C. offers abortion up to 27 weeks. In New York, which has 87 abortion clinics, let me read that again. In New York, which has 87 abortion clinics, according to Operation Rescue 28 Clinic Survey, 60 only perform abortion up to 14 weeks gestation. There are 17 clinics that limited abortions to 23 weeks and under. 10 clinics were willing to abort through 24 weeks or the end of the 6th month of pregnancy, the organization noted. The abortion bill signed into law by New York's Democrat Governor Andrew, was it Cuomo, I think, or something like that. I don't pay attention to the politicians. So last week, not only allows abortion at any time to protect the patient's health, but it also says an abortion may be performed by a licensed, certified, or authorized practitioner within 24 weeks from the commencement of pregnancy. This allows healthcare practitioners who are not doctors to perform abortions. In response, Operation Rescue President Troy Newman likened the law to having a... Oh, there's my dog. Let's take out your... I can't even pronounce that word. Take out your gallbladder. There is no way a non-physician would be qualified to conduct a third trimester abortion, Newman said. Third trimester abortions require specific training, and even then, they have a far from safe and unqualified non-physicians try to do third trimester abortions. There is no doubt that even more women will die. There are fewer than 10 abortions in the United States who will perform late-term abortions, which take 3 to 4 days to complete, to liabilities and risk to the mother's life, says Operation Rescue. 3 men who perform late-term abortions are now either in prison or have other medical license revoked. Lawmakers in Rhode Island have also introduced 2 bills in the state legislature to make abortion legal up to birth. CP reported last week the state's Democrat governor, Gina Raimondo, has already said that if passed, she'll sign the Reproductive Health Care Act into law. While the number of independently operated clinics that perform second and third trimester abortions has declined, Planned Parenthood has been increasing its number of clinics that offer abortions at 20 weeks and later. 2 years ago, 18 Planned Parenthood's clinics performed late-term abortions. Now that number is at 37. According to Operation Rescue 2018 Abortion Clinic Survey, the abortion clinics nationwide conducted from November 26th through December 14th, 2018. Planned Parenthood's new president, Dr. Leanna Wen, has said numerous times that she believes abortion is a basic human right, and she's going to fight for that every day. Last year, abortions performed at Planned Parenthood clinics nationwide increased to 332,757, an increase of 11,373 abortions over the previous year's report. So that is the end of that article, which, oh my goodness. I'm going to read that again. Last year, abortions performed. I'm so sorry about that. Excuse me. Abortions at Planned Parenthood clinics nationwide increased to 332,000. Increased to 332,757. An increase of 11,373 abortions over the previous year's report. So from 2018, 11,000 increase. As I was talking about the world getting nuttier and insanity, like I said, this article is upsetting. It should be. It should be. It should be upsetting. I was reading over, when you read the Bible, you realize how upset well, certain individuals were that they could not, well, they couldn't have a baby. God had closed the womb, or it used to be an heir. A guy, that I'm thinking of Abraham. God, I have no heir. And this was upsetting. This was a concern. This was a great concern that you didn't have somebody to carry on your name, your lineage. Um, and today, it's children are, well, they're an inconvenience. Let's just be honest. They're an inconvenience. They're not a blessing anymore. They're an inconvenience. We silence them with drugs because they act out, or they act like children, or because they have not been disciplined. And then we pacify them with movies that inundate their little minds with things that they should not know. I've watched it over and over again. I've watched little ones literally go through TV withdrawals. That's terrifying. At 5 and 6 years old, that go through television withdrawals. If the TV is taken away, it's the worst thing ever to them. That is their pacifier. That is, well, their connection. Their connection is no longer to the parents. It's to the TV. The TV has now directing their minds in the way that they should go. And that's sad. It's awful. Not only that, we're told we have taken prayer out of the schools, and we told our children that, well, God didn't make them. That's just a fairy tale. What's real is, well, they came from slime. A bunch of little congregated cells. One cell morphed into a human being. But yet, they still have science classes. And I don't know if you've ever looked at the intricacy of the eyeball, or stared at a picture of how the inner workings of your ear works, or even your lungs, or, my goodness, you were fearfully and wonderfully made. But we don't want our children to know that anymore. We don't want them to know that there's a God that absolutely loved them and took the time to count every hair on their head, because, well, they wouldn't fall in line with today's agenda, would they? Maybe it's always been the agenda. They wouldn't fall in line with it. We, at least in the Western world, we've completely failed our children. We've completely failed. But, it's upsetting. It's upsetting because, we talk about these things and try to, and, I didn't even know this weekend was the Super Bowl. I had no clue. I don't pay attention. I really don't care. But when I find out that it is a Super Bowl, I actually get a little glad, because I don't have to hear about it at work. I'll have to hear about it for one more week. Everyone talking about who won, who lost, whatever.